Passive income in crypto doesn't have to be a mystery. Let me break it down to you. And with this, what we're going to use is Solana, and we're going to jump straight on over to Orca. This is obviously done completely different than what my other previous videos have talked about, where everything else is EVM chains. This is Solana chain, which is much different, and different chains obviously, but works fundamentally the same as all the other chains that you would be working on. So what we're going to do here in this instance, we're going to just focus on the Solana USDC pair, and I think this is an excellent one for generating fees and generating cash flow, I suppose, daily for definite. So we have two options. As I mentioned, we have Solana USDC, and obviously you have a lot of meme coins there. You can see the different yield TVL breakdown of different ones. These ones, for example, are going to be much more risky, I would expect. So with that in mind, we jump into the Solana USDC, and you can see down here I have a position, and I quickly click on that here. So you can see up there in the red is my original position for Solana. I had only, I think, $5 or $6 in this, and it only was in range, I think, for maybe 20 minutes in total. But it was interesting to see the actual yield was coming up, and you could actually see the numbers moving. So again, the range was super tight. I got into it pretty much at the wrong time. Got into it, I think, around this point here, or maybe this point, sorry, and it earned a little bit of fees, went out of it, and came back up into it. I think earned a little bit again, and then obviously, like everything, dropped over the last couple of days. So the key here is obviously picking ranges. There's a balance here between risk and reward. For me, it was extremely risky to get into this position here. In hindsight, what I would do if I was doing, which I will be doing it again, in hindsight, what I will do the next time is if I'm getting into a range this tight, and even if it's here, as soon as I dropped out of that range, I probably would look to maybe sell and get rid of all the Solano at that stage. You might have had a small and permanent loss, but hopefully, as I said, provided the yield is after balancing it all out and you've profited from it, that would be my approach. Again, this would be my equivalent to trading. I don't like trading. I like to try and see can I extract value through yield farming, and I'm okay holding tokens, especially like Solana, for example, here, which I think does have a long term growth potential here for definite. So what we're going to do here is just give an example if I'm getting into this position again. So with that in mind, what we're going to do is back here, I think. Back here, and we jump into again, sorry, the Solana USDC pair. Here's the dashboard now we're faced with. Obviously the red is gone because my position is not clicked. And you can see this is the range set. It's 3% plus, or 3% minus, and 3% plus. Again, this is the range we want to stay in. For this range, you're going to get 1.56% per day. Now, I don't think you can get any of that anywhere in traditional finance, and it's just an unreal APR to be getting. So it's easy enough to set this up and straightforward. You can pick your range. So again, let's assume we're getting into this with one Solano. It's going to automatically adjust how much USDC we have to put into it. Obviously, I have nothing at the moment here, but I will be trying to do a video on this. So with this, what it's going to earn us, we have a total position of $268, and it's going to be earning us roughly 1.5% per day. So straight away there, it is decent return you're going to be getting for it, for the yield. And as I said, the range here, you can see it's set to, let's say, 3%. So we've been in range already for a number of hours. Look at the daily interval. You can see here already we've been in range for the entire today and yesterday and a good chunk of the day before. So the 21st of June has been in range for most of the day. 22nd of June, it was in range for nearly 90 of the day as well. We did a wick out of it, but came back into it, opened and closed in it. And again, down here, it's in range again. So hopefully everything goes well. We can kind of stay in range and keep doing something like this, maybe, is what you're hoping to do. And it's slow, steady road back up again. I think that's the key of what you really want to see here. What can happen for definite, and can happen more times, is we shoot up and then we might come back down into the range again, and then we might go back up again. So just keep that in mind, that does happen regularly, and it's something just to pay attention to, because with liquidity farming, you have to be cautious of that. Now, in this instance, you have, as I mentioned, 6%. We can set this at 10%, much bigger range, much more opportunity to capture the yield. However, obviously, our APY here has dropped massively. It was down to 0.4%. So I think I averaged it out as about around 0.5%, which worked out roughly 150% APR interest rate here, or APR from the position. So with a $10,000 investment into this, it's roughly going to earn you $41. See it down here at $41 a day, which is for me personally, I think that's a brilliant return. Obviously, there's a lot of things that's to go your way. Again, it's just to give me an idea of where I can potentially am with my positions. And when I like to zoom out and see, can I build out positions? I technically could even look to build this out much bigger and go 20% plus or minus. Again, you're only getting 0.2%, but a lot better opportunity to capture a lot more yield over a longer period of time and not risk, going out in and out range constantly. And I think if you do this enough with a different, build up your positions, and you can eke out maybe your 0.20 to 0.40% per day, you're still looking at maybe 80% per year. So even at 80% per year, and if you can stay within that range consistently, and you eventually grow your position to say 50,000, you're earning now $109 a day. That's more than likely average daily hourly salary, I think, for a lot of people out there. And yes, people will argue, where the hell are you going to get $50,000 to start this off? Over time, you can get to that goal, you can reach that point, but with an APR of roughly 80% per year, it's definitely achievable to get both of these. And as I mentioned, you're getting your daily salary there extra on top, $767 roughly a weekly earning from pretty much building a position. And as soon as you hit a point of having a couple of $100 earning in yield positions, your entire portfolio starts to grow. That you just need to be in a position that you can start to earn and generate cash flow basically from all these liquidity farms, and avoiding the mistake of getting in and being too greedy. I'm the first to admit that I would be get into positions and end up staying in them too long, or doing something like this, getting a super tight range. And over the longer term basically is the key of what you really want to be looking at. And I think there's nothing wrong with getting into something that's a bit longer, wider in range, still earning your decent yield, even at that 0.16% per day. Within a month you're already outpacing traditional finance and stuff like that. So look, we're going to leave it there. I'll definitely be doing more videos on this and diving a bit deeper into Solana for definite, and yield farming, and trying to build it into our strategy. So I appreciate anyone who found this video interesting. Let me know in the comments. If you're in different positions on Solana, definitely let me know in the comments, and other things that I might have missed. So thanks very much for watching, and I hope everyone has a great day.